Namaste, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to virtual yoga here at the Y on this wonderful Monday, March morning. I'm Rusty. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to keep things fairly chill this morning, but we might invoke a little bit of movement. So whatever feels good for you, you know that we're here ready to rock. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started today in a comfortable seated position. So you can remove any flesh from underneath your sit bones, allowing yourself to sit up nice and tall, releasing any pressure and tension from the spine. And then with the palms, you can turn them inward towards your knees to feel more grounded, or maybe you turn them up to receive this morning. Wherever you arrive, maybe allowing yourself to close the eyes as you begin to settle into your practice. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, sigh out the mouth, release. Beautiful job. We'll do 2 more rounds like that to settle in. Breathing in through the nose. Feeling full at the top, and exhale. Awesome job. 1 more round like that. Breathing in all the way through the nose. Filling the belly, the chest, the heart. And exhale, releasing it all. Feeling that belly empty all the way out. And then beginning to seal your lips as you continue to breathe in and out of your nose. Just bringing awareness to your breath in this natural state this morning. Not yet trying to alter or force your practice in any way. Just checking in to see where you naturally are. So no matter if you have maybe more energy this morning, maybe a little bit less from losing an hour over the weekend, ultimately this practice just gives us the tools to check in with our honest selves so we can take whatever action we may need to find that balance. So as you continue sitting here, starting to deepen that breath, cultivating a little bit more sound and feeling. Feeling that breath build as you cultivate that ujjayi breathing, that ocean-like sound. Feeling the energy of each inhale fill you up, and each exhale releasing that energy into stillness. Just sitting here for about 5 more rounds of breath. Allowing any purpose you may have for your practice to be locked in to this moment. So as we continue to build and add, if you feel anything pull you away from this intention, allow yourself the space to find your breath and use your breath as a tool towards finding that balance for yourself. Awesome job. When you're ready from here, next inhale, reach those arms up overhead and just take a nice seated side bend over towards your right side. Breathing in back towards center, Then exhale, bringing it over towards your left. One extra breath there. Breathing in, back through center. And on this exhale, open the arms long aside the body, just bringing in a little bit of shoulder work to begin our practice this morning. So as you inhale, just subtly feel your arms extend, palms facing forward towards the front of your mat. And as you exhale, we're gently turning those palms back towards the back of the room, feeling that subtle movement and energy in the shoulders. Inhaling to open the palms forward. And exhale, turning them back inward. Starting to move with the pace of your own breath. Breathing in, palms up. And exhale, turning them back. Taking about 3 more rounds here. Exploring this gentle range of motion and observing how connecting it to your breath, moving with intent, really helps us to open up and be aware of our true selves. This practice isn't about hitting impossible postures. It's just about allowing ourselves to be all right with our true natural states and take whatever we may need to work through it. Find your palms back forward on your next inhale. And when you're ready from there, inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale to rock forward from your seat into hands and knees, tabletop pose. Now allowing that foundation to be set here in our table. So if you feel your elbows start to splay out towards the side, see if you can bring them in line with the bring your elbows in line with your wrist and your shoulders, and just observe how as those inside eyes of the elbows move forward and keep yourself in line. It really helps keep the upper body more engaged, so we're not putting excess pressure on our wrist, our shoulders. Now with your feet, as you spread the tops of your feet into the mat, observing how active your legs are from that energy. And as we're fully engaged, that starts to free energy away from our spine, so we can begin to move our spine with some cat-cows here. Inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the heart open towards the front of the room for cow pose. Then exhale as you gently round that spine one vertebrae at a time, gazing back at your thighs for cat. Inhaling, belly drops, heart lifts for cow pose. And exhale, rounding that spine as you arch and gaze for cat. Inhaling again for cow. Then exhaling for cat. Beautiful job starting to take these at the pace of your own breath. And inviting any movement that feels organic and natural for your body. Maybe that's moving the hips side to side, or adding circles. Maybe that's moving back into child's pose and finding more stillness. We all go through different aspects of our lives on a daily basis. So what we may need may vary rapidly from day to day and vary from so many other people who are around us. And any of those differences are more than okay. This practice doesn't look to judge any of those differences. It looks to honor them and allow you to find what ultimately works best for you. Finding your way back to neutral table in the next few rounds of breath. And once you arrive at this neutral table, we're just going to take some spinal balances. So we'll start by inhaling the right leg towards the back of the room. Now feel your toes dig into the mat here to stretch out that ankle and that hamstring. Now if you want a little bit more energy in the core, you can always lift that foot off the ground here. Hanging out for 2 more breaths and adding on our next energy. If it feels good, you can inhale to extend your left arm forward. Now feel that thumb face upward towards the sky as you align those shoulder blades. Then maybe you extend your foot if you haven't already done so. Feel those bandhas tighten as you strengthen that core, finding the support of your breath for about 3 more rounds here. So strong, you're doing so good. 1 more breath. And adding on some core here, exhale to hug your knee and elbow into your chest. We're going to do 3 of those. So inhale to extend your arm and leg out long. Exhale to crunch it in, knee and elbow to chest. Inhale to extend and exhale to crunch it in. Last inhale to extend and let's exhale to set it back down to neutral table. Allowing yourself to just shake it out, moving your body from side to side, resetting, reflecting on the pose. And once you feel ready, we'll take that on the other side. So this inhale, extending your left leg towards the back of the mat this time. Again, feeling the ball of the foot plant here for a few breaths to help stretch out that hamstring, that ankle. And maybe it feels good to stay here grounded. Maybe you feel like lifting your foot off. Gaze off the front for 2 more breaths as you find the strength in that core. And when you're ready, inhale to extend your right arm long for spinal balance. Option again to keep the foot planted or lift it up high. Trying to find that support from your tightened core. Feeling your breath support you here. Holding through stillness for 2 more rounds. And if you've got the crunches in you, inhale to extend out long and exhale to crunch in that knee and elbow towards your chest. Inhale to extend it out long, then exhale to crunch it in, knee and elbow. Inhale to extend. Last exhale to crunch it in here. Last inhale to extend. Then exhale, bringing your hands back down, bringing your feet back down to a neutral table pose. And just taking a few moments to bring the feet together, knees wide, sitting your hips back into child's pose. If you need a little more opening in the shoulders, can walk those hands from the palms onto their fingertips. Continuing to feel that long spine, the support of your breath as we prepare to add a little more movement, reminding yourself that empowerment to take this child's pose or any other posture that may be available to you, taking it without permission. Option to hang out here in child's as long as you wish. When you feel ready, your next inhale, we're going to move back into table pose. Now walking those hands forward about 1 handprint. Exhale to curl those toes under. Press your hips up and back to the sky for downward facing dog. I'm just hanging out in this first down dog for a few rounds of breath. So maybe you pedal out the feet to stretch out those hamstrings, wake up the legs and ankles a little bit. And if you feel those elbows ever start to splay out, see if you can just subtly turn those palms in, trying to get those inside eyes of the elbows continuing to face forward, not quite locking out. And then with that strength in the arms, really feeling that long spine. So we're almost like a 90-degree angle in our down dog. And not necessarily focusing on how you may look, rather than how you feel in this pose. Trying to find that support, your energy. And when you feel ready, inhale to gaze up at the top of your mat. Exhale to walk, step, or jump, float. Meet the hands at the front of your mat in a forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen up halfway, pressing your hands into the calves. And exhale to hinge and fold forward for Uttanasana. We're going to do 2 more rounds like this before we start to rise up. So inhale as you press your hands into your calves, feeling that spine nice and long. And exhale, hinge and fold, Ardha Uttanasana, feeling that tailbone high. Maybe allowing yourself to bend the knees as much as feels good here. One more inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Then exhale, hinge and fold forward. Checking out our feet, just making sure they're at hips width distance. You can measure approximately by putting your 2 fists together in between your feet. Feeling those arches, pull up as you root through the toes. Find that grounding support. And when you're ready, inhale all the way up through standing. And exhale, hands through heart center, down by the side, Samastitihi. Continuing to move through this Virsaling A, feeling your inhale, arms reach overhead. And exhale, taking a side bend over towards your right. Whatever variation feels best for you. Maybe it's grabbing the wrist. Maybe it's allowing the arms to hang out by the side. When you're ready, inhale back through center. And exhale, taking that over towards the other side. Just continuing to breathe energy into that side body, feeling your heart space open as we hold through these side bends. One more breath and inhale back through center. Maybe taking a back bend if that feels good for you. And exhale to hinge and fold forward, feeling that tailbone go high. Inhale, lift and lengthen up halfway. And then exhale as you plant your hands, step or float the feet back to top of a push-up plank pose, and pausing here. Feel those elbows align with the wrist and shoulders, keeping our arms nice and active here. If this feels like a lot of pressure, always have the option to drop down on towards your knees. Wherever you're at in this plank pose, holding for 3 more rounds, turning on that breath, finding that strength in your core, that fire that burns within you, that fuel to get through your day if needed. Next, inhale, come forward on those toes or knees. And exhale as you bend those elbows, keeping them in line, lowering halfway for Chaturanga. Inhale, tops of the feet press, heart lifts forward for upward facing dog. And exhale, curl those toes under, press the hips back for downward facing dog. Awesome job hanging out here for about 3 rounds of breath. So just observe how your body feels with a little bit of movement from where we were in that first downward dog. Remembering this is a fluid life practice. When you feel ready from here, inhale to look up at the top of your mat. And exhale to walk, step, or jump, float, meet the hands in a forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen up halfway. Then exhale, hinge and fold forward. Root through your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up through standing. Exhale, hands through heart center, down by the side, Samastitihi. From here, we're gonna light up that fire a little bit more in our chair pose. So bring those toes together, knees together, bend your knees, drop the seat, and inhale, arms rise for chair pose. Now see if you can look down and gaze at your toes. If you can't see your toes, that might be a sign that you can lean back a little bit more in this chair pose. And when you feel that seat move back, then trying to root that tailbone, lifting your heart up higher, and keeping those arms open, releasing that energy towards the sky. One more breath here in chair. And then exhale, take an open arm twist over towards your right. Trying to keep those hips square through one breath. When you're ready, inhale back through center and exhale, taking that over towards the other side. One more breath here. So strong in those legs, doing so good, y'all. Inhale back through center, and then exhale, bring those hands alongside the body, moving onto the balls of the feet as we move into diver's pose. Hanging out here for about 3 more rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, inhale to lift back through chair, and then exhale to just come out to standing, arms alongside the body. Step those feet a little bit wide. We're just going to move into Paschimottanasana next. So bring your hands into your hips, inhale to lift and lengthen, and then exhale to hinge and fold forward. Now take your peace fingers and reach for the binds of the big toes. Inhale as you lift and lengthen up halfway, and exhale as you bend those elbows out to the side, keeping that tailbone nice and high, moving into Padangusthasana. So allow yourself to bend the knees as much as you need to here to access this stretch. This is really good in opening for the shoulders. And with those knees bent, if you want to stretch and find that edge, you can slowly extend your legs a little bit more until you find that magical place of engagement where you really feel it. And if you feel a ton of shaking like me and you're like, that might be too much, then that's a sign that you can just back off a little bit, reset, find that edge in space that works for you. Holding here for 2 more breaths. When you're ready from here, inhale to lift and lengthen up halfway. Exhale, slide the hands underneath the feet, moving into Padmottanasana, hand to foot pose. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway, and exhale, hinge and fold. Hanging out for about 5 rounds of breath. Same options as last time. You can bend those knees as much as you need to here to access the stretch. Maybe allowing yourself to extend, to find that magical place of engagement in your edge. Allowing your breath to fuel you here. When you're ready, inhale to release the hands, lift and lengthen up halfway. And then exhale, bring those hands to your hips, keeping that spine nice and long to keep it protected. Inhale to extend all the way back up through center. And then exhale, hands alongside the body. Maybe dancing out if that feels good, whatever you need to reset and move around. When you're ready from here, inhale to extend the arms up. And exhale to hinge and fold forward. Inhale to lift and lengthen up halfway. Exhale to plant the hands, step or float through one final chaturanga sequence, or skip this going back into down dog. Inhaling for upward facing dog, and exhale for downward facing dog. Taking about 2 rounds of breath here. And when you're ready, inhale to gaze up between your hands. Exhale to walk, step, or jump through to a comfortable seated position. Extending the legs out long, removing the flesh from underneath the sitting bones. Sitting up nice and tall, moving into a forward fold. When you're ready, inhale, reaching those arms up overhead, and exhale to hinge and fold forward. Trying to keep that spine nice and long, so maybe the hands bind the toes, maybe they reach up further towards the calves or thighs. Wherever you're able to comfortably breathe and support yourself, just hanging out there for a few breaths. Ready from here, inhale to lift back up through center. Exhale, one vertebrae at a time, slowly making our way to lying onto our backs. And once you arrive to your backs, one back bend before we close our practice out. So plant those feet out in front of the hips, just outside of fingertip distance with the arms alongside the body. Bending your elbows, fingers up towards the sky. Inhale to lift your hips up into bridge pose. And exhale just to lower your hips about an inch as you feel that neutrality in the spine. Resetting out your body. And then when you're ready, exhale to lower your hips back onto the ground. Bringing your knees into your chest for a nice squeeze. If happy baby feels good for you here, you can reach for the outsides of your feet as you rock yourself side to side, taking a nice little inversion. Once you're ready from there, just allow your knees to come back together, opening the arms to a T as your knees fall over to the left, gaze falls to the right. Letting go of any control in your breathing. Releasing through these final moments as you reflect on where you are now from where you began the practice. Inhaling back through center, exhaling, knees over to the left. Gaze falling, other side. As you reflect, some understanding by allowing yourself these 30 minutes to be here, to be authentically you. You've done all the work you've needed for your practice today. So as you inhale back through center, and exhale, release the legs to the front edge of the mat, palms laying by the side, face up towards the sky. You can allow yourself to fully surrender and enjoy this moment of rest, appreciating your true self and honoring you through the practice. When you're ready, taking a cleansing breath in through the nose, feeling full at the top, and exhale, sigh it all out. Beautiful job. Take rest. awakening the mind and the body, inviting breath into movement of the fingers and the toes, the wrist and the ankles, shaking out the head as you reawaken. Inhale to stretch your arms and legs out long for a nice good morning stretch. And exhale to hug your knees into your chest for one final squeeze of gratitude, rocking yourself side to side, rolling onto your favorite side, feeling that support of the earth below you, and that gratitude of yourself for being here and being you. When you're ready, press your way up to a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall, bringing the hands together one last time through heart center as we bow the head and close the eyes, ending our practice with the closing breath followed by the sound of Om. When you're ready, inhale in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Inhale here for Om. Thank you so much for sharing your practice this morning with such an open mind and open heart. The light in me honors and sees the light within you. Rock Om and Namaste.